Welcome back to the Amped 2 Own the Mountain guide. In this video, we're going to shred the slopes of New Zealand. Now here, these snowmen don't have many places to hide, but you'll still find them on some creative lines. And the gaps as well, you will be getting some massive air with some of them, though a couple of the gaps may be a bit harder than you want them to be. But anyway, for the snowmen, we'll start at the canyon, and we will hook a right and go to the right side of kind of the cavern that you can drop into, and the snowman is just on the right side, kind of where one of the photo shoots and the Pro 2 take you. So just one snowman from that drop point. Again, you could probably collect that with some other snowman from above, but starting off with the first drop point and seeing what you can get there. So now that we're out of the canyon, let's go to the lower ridge where we'll ride our way down. About halfway down, and a snowman will be on a rock to the right. Now his bodyguard almost stops us from getting him, but we make our way around. And then make your way a bit further down and head over to the left, and there's another snowman on kind of a rock outcropping to the left with a big jump right there, leading you to the final few jumps of the ending run of Lower Ridge there. So we've collected 3 snowmen, and we're going to be heading up to Big Ridge to get the other 5. So first at Big Ridge, we will hook a right, we'll drop down to where the absolutely massive jump off of a tent is, where you probably get your triple backflip trick and get like 200,000 points off a jump. But we won't go off that. Instead, we'll go to the left of this section and there will be a snowman. Then you'll really want to jump to the left to avoid the half pipe. If you fall into the half pipe, you won't be able to pick up the rest of these snowmen easily in one run. But on the other side of the half pipe, there's a snowman, and then just move to the right a little, and on another outcropping rock, there's another snowman. So you can see that you could continue on and get the snowman that we got from Canyon with that run. But there we go. We have 6 of 8 going back up to Big Ridge to get the other 2. Now this next snowman requires a pretty interesting jump. You'll ride forward and go off the first big jump, and then you'll ride and go off the second, and the snowman is on the very lip of the landing. And actually it's kind of cool when you get it, but you might easily find yourself jumping over it. It requires a very specific jump and speed that I had figured out. So if you can't get the snowman with that, ride around to the left and just simply ride up into the snowman from below. That's probably a safer option. And then we'll pick up the 8th snowman in this run. We'll just kind of curve forward to the right, diagonal, and there's another snowman here. And we've found them, all 8 snowmen on New Zealand. We're hearing something from the ska reggae surf rock playlist in the background. I'm wondering if you played Amped before or are playing it. What's your favorite of their music playlists? Or maybe what's your guilty pleasure, you know, something that comes on and you're just kind of smile. You know, especially all of the Ziggins tracks that are in Amped 1 and 2. They're a pretty nice band, even though I don't really listen to them otherwise. But we went through the first gap. We started on Canyon, and it was just ride straight in front of you and slow down a bit, and there will be a gap where you jump up onto kind of a pedestal of snow, sort of. So next we're heading over to Lower Ridge for a gap that is a really cool idea, but has some tricky parts behind it. It's about halfway down, and as you see, you can go jump for some monster air, but if you just ride straight, you'll find that you can't quite clear the hump. So what I found that you have to do is kind of ride over to the left for a bit, and then turn over and hit the ice right before the gap, and kind of gain that burst of speed right before the gap and jump for it. However, while it's a really cool idea, I found this gap to be frustratingly hard and precise, and I feel like some of the gaps perhaps take away from their fun factor as you just try them over and over without really making any progress. I think the gaps should have been much more lenient. The fact that you got some huge air and landed past that ridge is enough. I do not need to land in the exact specific latitudinal, longitudinal coordinates that you want me to. I feel like, spirit of the letter rather than the exact word or whatever that expression is. So that's definitely the toughest gap, I would say, on this level, and I tried that for quite a while. Another kind of tough gap, didn't take me too many tries, but each time I went for it, I had to wait and see if it would play out, is this massive air that you see pretty close to the start. That was not my first attempt at it, but just to consolidate the videos, I'm showing that off. And then I'm going to pick up another gap that's just at the end of the level. If you stay in the center, make your way over, you'll find another huge gap, and see, that one is quite lenient. I landed off to the left, and it still gave me the gap. I feel like if there was that leniency in the other gap that I struggled with, then I would have perhaps found that more fun, because it definitely is awesome to slide over the ice and launch yourself off of that to get the air to make your way over that ridge, as I mentioned. And so the last gap it's in a bit of an odd location, so I'm just going to show you a full run, though I'll speed up part of it. You stay down kind of the center backbone of the mountain, but you'll go over to where the Pro 3 does a rail-to-rail transfer, and instead you'll kind of ride up the slope around the rail and then jump to again clear just over a cool hump of snow and land down below. That one only took me a couple attempts, but the rails before, their hitbox can be a bit finicky. You might smash into the hitbox from the bottom and wipe out and wonder what you did. So then in that case, you'll have to restart. But yeah, I'd say my stats were getting to be pretty on point. Now, I did overshoot a couple of the gaps a couple times, but it was really that one where I could not get enough air, and when I got enough air, I could not hit the exact right spot. That precision of some of the gaps that makes some of them just frustrating to go after. But that was New Zealand. We found the snowmen, we conquered the gaps, so next time we'll go to Millicent. See you then.